BlackRock is much more intimately involved with Ripple than what's publicly available for people to understand. BlackRock was tapped and pulled in, I think, by the U.S. government to repackage the debt and punt the football and come up with a solution to be able to rebalance the debt. And tokenization of all of the economy does that. And the reason for that is you get a positive flywheel going. So if you have a bearer asset that you could draw debt against to be able to purchase assets, to move them on chain, that then added more volume and value to a network that caused the asset that you drew debt against to appreciate, you just continue to roll that, right? And over time, that asset continues to go up and up and up in value. We've already seen this with Bitcoin, but nobody's tokenizing anything on the Bitcoin network. It doesn't have smart contract capability. You know, they've used runes and other things to be able to like etch things on different Bitcoin in order to have, you know, some type of NFT functionality on that chain. They've got to have, you know, Lightning Network in order for it to be able to scale, where they lock up collateral very similar to what they do with Ethereum and Matic, the layer 2 there. The XRPL is unique in that it doesn't have a ton of smart contract capability. They're continuing to add amendments to that chain. We know that it's possible to have, you know, high levels of TPS and lightweight smart contracts because we've already seen Soraband smart contracts put on chain on Hyperledger, which was an exact replica of the XRPL, except, you know, the initial account isn't black holed, and they, you know, burned 50 billion of the initial supply, so it has half the total supply, but it has very similar characteristics to the XRPL. So when it comes to BlackRock, I do believe that they will launch an exchange-traded product. We saw in November of 2023, they filed a BlackRock ETF iShares XRP Trust in Delaware. I really do believe it was BlackRock that filed that. For somebody to fake that, the people that had to sign that document and notarize it, and it just struck me oddly that would even be possible. But they swept that under the rug, and now they have filed an A8 for their BlackRock ETF trust, which is just ambiguous. You don't know what's in it until they file their S1. And with the way that the spot crypto ETFs now have a specific structure where they're immediately, approved by the SEC, they could launch that at any time, file that S1, and run. So, you know, with all of that being said, I do believe that they're going to come to market with that. I put out a tweet earlier that's kicked the hornet's nest, I guess. I think that Ripple may end up getting acquired by BlackRock. Now, that's not a certainty, but I do think that they work much closer together than most people realize, because again, if BlackRock's initiative is to stabilize the debt and repackage it and balance the debt here in the US, really the only way they're going to do that is through tokenization, and it's going to have to be pretty well siloed on one network to get the appreciation of a token to be able to back the financial system and draw debt against as a tier 1 asset, which I've talked about XRP being many times.